what does your portfolio, like, how did that all go? Because you did have to switch property managers.
Right.
Like, what was base reality and what you thought you were getting into, what you actually got into, what was just mismanagement on the manager side? How's this new property manager doing for you? And what can this is the real meat of this podcast. That story is amazing, by the way, on like the leverage and the ability to do all that. And you have a financial mind. Like, you see these things.
Right.
I'm sure the spreadsheets talk to you and tell a story.
You're
very comfortable with it.
I dream about them, Rob, you know.
Ah.
Yeah.
How what went down? What can we learn?
I think it's good to go back a bit just to understand like kind of like the process through. You know, so when I bought the 16 doors, those were all managed by a fairly local firm. And frankly, it was fine, you know, not great, but it was fine. I had the cash flow every month. It was pretty consistent. And frankly, those first 16 doors were in a little better shape than the 32 unit portfolio. So their job was a bit easier as well. Right around the time when I purchased the 32 unit, they were acquired by a larger firm, a national brand. I think, in my opinion, kind of lost some of the knitting, you know, that had made them good before. But you know, I was a loyal customer. My agent's also with the firm. You know, so I knew, like, and trust them. It was easy to onboard properties, right? You buy with them. He does all the background work, and it's on the portal the next day, right? It's great. So first few months, not great in terms of cash flow. They had some issues with the systems they were using, and I literally didn't get a rent disbursement check for the first 2 months. Definitely pretty alarming when I see these big chunks of debt coming out right now, right? Much bigger than I was used to with a 16 unit portfolio. So the first 2 months were a little harrowing. Then they explained it all. I felt good. A few more months go by. Still not much improvement. I was getting checks, but they were significantly smaller than I thought they should be. And there wasn't much of an explanation. I think to me, and I guess we'll get into this later, is the communication piece of what was actually going on was really missing there. And to me, if you can't set expectations for me, then it's really hard for me to trust you moving forward. So this is around March, April of 2022. I pretty much say to them, hey, you know, this isn't really going as planned. I'm not made of cash. I can't just keep fronting the cost for this, right? This just can't keep going on forever. So,
and you're fronting the cost from this from either your other properties or a W-2. And this is like,
yeah,
I know when I have to fund one of my rental accounts, I don't really like, wait a minute. The money's going the wrong way.
Right, it's supposed to be the
Unless
opposite
it's a
way.
refinance and I'm like, I know that, all right, now I'm doing the roof, or now I'm going to shore up that whole basement or the mechanicals or whatever. But like the ongoing, I think a lot of people are afraid of that.
Right. And it made me scared, to be honest with you. You know, it's not great seeing that. So I overraised for that big portfolio, and thankfully I did, because I was just using that cash that I overraised. But frankly, I thought, oh, I'll never do that cash. That's just for a rainy day, make me sleep at night, that I have that much money in the bank. Well,
that was the 150 from family or friends, or was there other capital?
Yeah, so I raised 250 for the 150 down. So I had an extra 100K sitting there just in case something happened.
Smart. Because when you need that money, it's much tougher to get it.
Yeah, and frankly, I'm not sure. I mean, I would have had to come up with something, but I'm not sure what I would have done if I didn't have it.
And at that point, your capital stack's already, your operating agreements are done. If there was any promissory notes or any of that, my first boss, this man would tell me, no offense to the bankers out there, he says, bankers, it's like, when it's raining, they won't give you an umbrella. They'll only give you the umbrella when it's sunny out. Like, you're not going back to the bank and be like, can I get a construction portion of this? Or can we renegotiate the terms on this interest only portion? Or like, even friends and family are going to be like a little timid of, got it. So you had at least $100,000 in reserves.
Right. Which is going quick when you got a lot of debt payments, right?
Well, when you're talking about a 30 unit building, that's probably average rent. Are we talking $800-900 a unit or more?
Yeah, 900. Now it's up to 1,200, but yeah, in that range.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's called 30 grand a month. Plus you have a taxes, insurance. You have all the things that never go away.
Right. Exactly.
Taxes, insurance, and then if there's any debt. Okay.
Yeah. So this is April, and this is So I pretty much said, hey, this can't go much longer. I know you guys are in the midst of this merger, but frankly, that's not a big problem. Like, I have to live here too, right? So I gave them, I'm like, hey, until April, if you guys can't kind of figure this out, then I'm gonna have to look for another manager, because I'm gonna have to start selling properties, right? And to me, like, that helped me kind of internally, right? Like, what's the worst case scenario here? So you just sell a door or two and kind of shore up your cash. I know it's not the best situation, but it's not like I'm going to default on the loan, right? You
Would
can
your
always
bank let you do? Did you ever get to the point where you had to check with your bank to see, did you blanket these?
I did, but my bank allows me to kind of sell one off of it, and you can
Carve
get
one off.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly, which is great. I didn't have to do that, thankfully, but I did have to open up other credit facilities, right, to kind of float some of this. Anyway, so August comes, and frankly, still not very happy.
Just, that was a fancy word. He said credit facilities. AKA, I had to get more money.
I had to get a lot of credit.
Right? Yeah, I love talking with experts that have like these that I had to do a credit facility. Oh, I had to borrow some more money, or I had to go somewhere else. Got
it. Yeah. Sorry, made that just like needlessly complex there.
I liked it.
I liked it. But August comes, right, and I'm still not, I'm still not cash flowing, frankly. And
are they paying mortgage, taxes, insurance, or no?
No, so I have to.
You paying those?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm paying all that. So that's not set aside and tax.
So you're not cash flowing after like management, repairs, maintenance, and like whatever rent's not coming in.
Correct.
Okay.
For months at a time.
Got it.
So August comes around and they said, "Oh no, we're on the brink of something. Like the portfolio can get blah blah blah." Like they sold me a false set of goods. I hold on for another 2 months. I went against my word, and it's just a bad decision because the same thing happened for the next 2 months. I pulled the plug in November of last year and have switched over to a group where I knew, like, and trust the owner well. And frankly, it's been a lot better. So I'll stop there. I know there's a lot of information, but.
Did you ever figure out what happened?
So it started off, they kind of promised, and I won't say the program without giving away like the company name. But it was a program where, they kind of cover everything in terms of maintenance and all that other stuff. It wasn't explained properly to me, and I was being overcharged for it for months at a time, and I had to pull teeth to get that rebate back. I frankly don't think I even got all of it back. So that was the first set of it. And then just honestly, they didn't get very good bids. Rent collection, there'd be kind of units sitting for 2-3 months at a time, which I mean, like the name of the game is obviously to get these things fully occupied. And you can't just have stuff sit there for that long, right? Then codes would get mad at me. I'll get like these letters from the city saying, hey, what the heck's going on with this property? Like, there's no one there, and you're on the deed, right? So, not to get personal here, but yeah, that's
yeah. Well, the portfolio that I was mentioning to you before,